We'll talk about them later. Kirsten Blake is our next speaker, and if she could be on a game show, it would be Press Your Luck, which is freaking awesome for those of you who were born after 1990 something. No whammies. Stop. Oh, wah, wah, weird little creature. Google it, guys. It's a really fun, trippy game. As far as her weirdest injury, I love the specificity with this one. So Kirsten once carried her dog, Harriet Ethel, around New York City for 4 months because she was told that until puppies get their shots at 4 months old, their feet should not touch the ground at all. So she took it seriously, and for 4 months, carried an 11-pound dog everywhere. She then went to a puppy training class, and they're like, yeah, but nobody really does that. And Kirsten wound up with some sort of thing called frozen shoulder, which I've been told is crazy uncomfortable and painful. The song that she can't help but sing along with when it comes on is Starship's Nothing's Going to Stop Us Now. Does anybody know it? Because now I'm drawing a blank. Together, that one? Nothing's gonna stop us now. All right, got it. We're gonna have to do karaoke at some point. I mean, like, I'm just inviting all of you. We'll go to Sobo or Armitas or Barracudas, and I've done a lot of karaoke. And last but not least, she's brave and gutsy, and I can tell you that from Go. She lives her story with authenticity. That's a word now. And authenticity. I'm going to go drink more punch backstage, but please give a big round of applause for Kirsten.
So what if we stopped asking, what do you do, and started asking one another, how do you want to be in the world? Our society places so much value on external expectations that it often leaves people feeling less than and lacking. I started to think a lot about this when I realized I had moved from a heart space as a child to a head-centered space as an adult, worried about those external expectations and how I should be, trying to be perfect. So in 2013, I decided to examine this more and started to interview people who were navigating change in order to live their authentic path of being. I talked to nearly 200 people in the hopes of not only inspiring myself, but hopefully inspiring others. Then November 8th, 2016 happened. The presidential election awoke our national consciousness to many things that we were choosing to ignore. We were told that our nation was divided and we were too different to unite. And it definitely felt like that. From listening to the news to social media, these tweets are from the hashtag #IamAPre-existing-condition. And I captured this because I was so disheartened by the fact that cancer and death have become a partisan issue. And so I wanted to take to the road to see if what we were being fed was actually true, and instead actually talk to my fellow citizens. So I did this on a road trip called The Being of a Nation. I charted my map based on an algorithm that Randy Olson at Michigan State had created because I knew I wanted to go to at least one city in each of the lower 48 states in order to try to get as diverse a representation as I could and gather as many different stories. So I ended up driving 15,887 miles in Beatrice the Bee-mobile. Beatrice and I would roll into a town. I'd try to crowdsource where I should go and open up the back doors and invite people in to talk to me about how they wanted to be in the world. I started in Santa Fe, New Mexico, ended back here in Denver, Colorado, all the while had Harriet Ethel, my co-pilot, with me. I was a little worried about a random woman inviting people into her van, so I found out having a cute dog definitely helps with that. I ended up talking to 380 strangers in 48 states over 90 days, and I talked to so many amazing people, gathered wonderful stories, but too many to fit into this 5-minute talk, so instead I want to highlight some of the big takeaways. Number one being that connection is at the heart of being human. We are lonelier than ever in America right now, with half of Americans saying that they're lonely and suicide rates increasing 30% since 1999. Humans are innately social. We need one another. And interestingly, on this road trip, I was less lonely than I had been in a very long time because I found that I was having authentic conversations with a human every single day, if not several. Number two is we need more face-to-face conversations. Yes, with our friends and loved ones, but even more importantly, with strangers. This opportunity gave me the chance to talk to people that I might not necessarily get to talk to, who I might think were too different than me. One example is Tim, who I met in downtown Las Vegas. He invited me into his barbershop. Outwardly, we lived two very different lives, but we connected on how our country needed more love, and we ended with a huge bear hug. You can't get that on Twitter. Number 3 is that we are so very quick to judge based on labels and popular narratives that quite often we make assumptions about people before they even open their mouth, which just squashes any opportunity to find commonality. I did this at the Texas State Fair when I met Gabriel and Barbara. I assumed Gabriel was going to be a conservative rancher and Barbara was going to be a liberal. They actually gave me the exact opposite answers, proving that I needed to listen first. And last but not least, there is kindness all around us. There are so many things to be angry about in our country right now, and I feel that anger is a legitimate and important emotion, but we cannot forget the kindness. I experienced it in every city I went to, from friends and strangers. Being able to connect to other beings and their heart allowed me to connect back to myself and remind myself what it felt like to be in a heart-centered space like I was when I was 7 years old. When we connect to other people's beings, we connect to ourselves and vice versa. So I want to ask all of you, how do you want to be in the world? I encourage you to find your answer to this and then live from that space. And then ask somebody else this question, and then maybe another and another. Because what we need right now is connection. We need to talk to strangers. We need to judge less. And we need kindness. Our humanity depends on it. Thank you so much.
Kirsten was very nervous beforehand. She's like, I have dry mouth. What's going to happen? I'm like, I don't know. Bring water out. Swallow. Pause. And she killed it, right? That was amazing. I would get so annoyed with myself on a road trip throughout the entire country. Oh, it would be bad news. And I would be singing all the songs and probably irritate other people.